For yarn, go with either weight 3 light worsted DK yarn or weight 4 medium worsted iron yarn. The yarn I used is in between these weights, giving you the option to choose the weight you prefer for your project. So grab your trusty 4mm crochet hook. You'll also need a sharp pair of scissors, and don't forget your darning needle. It's essential for seamlessly weaving in yarn tails. To begin crocheting a peony bonnet, start with making a peony granny square. If you're wondering, how can I make it? Well, I've made a whole step-by-step tutorial for you, and just click here to watch, or you can find the link in the description of this video. And once you've learned the technique, you need to make 16 peony granny squares. Now we're ready to bring them all together, so let's begin joining the squares. When you have crocheted 16 peony squares, lay them out on the surface like this, and we'll start joining them starting here. We are going to start by making a slip knot. You want to take the end of your yarn, wrap it around your index finger. You'll see the letter X. Your hook goes under and then over and take out the yarn, and that's the slip knot. Then take these two granny squares and we'll start joining them from right to left using slip stitches. In the lower right corner of the top square, we see 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets, and we're going to insert the hook into the bottom half of the second chain. And then in the bottom square you can also see 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. Insert your hook into the top half of the second chain. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Take your working yarn using your pinky, and we're going to make a slip stitch, so we are pulling through all of these 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through all of the loops, just like so, and here's our slip stitch. Now continue joining. Here's the bottom half of the double crochet of the top square, and find the top half of the double crochet of the bottom square. Yarn over and pull through all of the 3 loops, just like so. And then just repeat. Find the bottom half stitch of the top square and then the top half stitch of the bottom square, and join them by making a slip stitch. So we are basically joining the closest half stitches to each other, bottom half with the top half, and join them by making a slip stitch. And feel free to hold your work however you like. On this side you're also joining the nearby half stitches together by making a slip stitch. And here's how the joining should look like. So continue making the slip stitches to this point. Once you're at the end, join the double crochet stitches. Here I'm going to find the bottom half of the top stitch and the top half of the bottom stitch, and join them by making a slip stitch. And now we're gonna join the chain stitches. So find the bottom half of the top chain and find the top half of the bottom chain. Yarn over and pull through 3 loops. And that's how you join 2 granny squares. Now take the next 2 squares and then take your working yarn, and we'll start joining from the corner of the top square. Find the bottom half of the second chain and insert your hook. Then in the other square, which is the bottom one, find the second chain in the corner and insert your hook into the top half of that second chain. Then you'll end up having 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all of those 3 loops. And that's basically how you join every next pair of granny squares. And then keep joining as usual by making slip stitches between the bottom half and the top half. Yarn over and pull through all of the 3 loops. And then just repeat bottom half stitch and the top half stitch, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And this is what the connection should look like. Then from this point continue joining the squares and I'll meet you here. So I've already crocheted to the end, and now we're going to continue and finish this row together. Here I have 2 double crochets left to join. Insert into the bottom half stitch and then top half, yarn over, pull through 3 loops as always. And now connect the chain stitches. Find bottom half chain of the top square and then top half of the bottom square. yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and then chain 1, cut the yarn, pull out the hook, and tighten the knot. After we've connected the squares from this point to this point, we're gonna start joining vertically. And I'm going to start here and we're going to work upwards. So to start joining, make a slip knot as usual, make a letter X, go under, over, and here's your slip knot. And here in the corner you can see chain 1 and chain 2. Insert your hook into the bottom half of the chain 2, and then take your working yarn using your pinky and find the bottom square and insert your hook into the top half of the second chain stitch. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that's our first slip knot, and then just make your regular slip stitches. Bottom half stitch and then top half stitch. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Or if you look from this side, we can say that we connect the nearest half stitches and then yarn over and pull through 3 loops. When you're close to the stitch intersection line, you'll see that we will have 2 double crochets left to join. So find the bottom half and then the top half, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And next we are connecting the chain stitches in the same way. Join the bottom half of the top chain with the top half of the bottom chain, and yarn over and pull through all of the 3 loops. And after that, make chain 1, and we're going to start joining the next 2 granny squares. So in the top square, you're going to find the chain stitch. Insert your hook into the bottom half of that chain, then find the top half of the other chain stitch, and then yarn over and work a slip stitch as we usually do. So pull through all 3 loops. And now that the awkward part is done, make regular slip stitches. Find the closest to each other half stitches and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And this is how the intersection line should look like. And once you're at the end, you'll see the double crochets that we need to join, and just work your regular slip stitch, pull through 3 loops, and then make your last slip stitch joining the chain stitches. So find the bottom half and the top half, yarn over, pull through 3, chain up 1, and cut the yarn. Take out your hook and secure your knot. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how pretty the joining looks? So here's our join that we made. And now we're going to crochet this long vertical join together, including the crossing lines. So don't worry if you haven't memorized how to crochet this point yet. And that will be our starting point. Now grab your yarn and start making a slip knot. Wrap it around your index finger and then take your hook, then go under and then over, take the yarn out, and here's your slip knot. And here's our starting point that I was talking about, and in this square in the corner we find the 2 chains. You want to insert your hook into the second chain and then take your working yarn and find the other square, and you're also going to find the second chain right there, and then yarn over and make your first slip stitch. And then just keep going, find the next double crochet stitches to join. Here's 1 half stitch and then the other half stitch, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And let's continue. Find the left half stitch of the right square, and then find the right half stitch of the left square. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So keep making the regular slip stitches, joining the closest half stitches with each other. By the way, don't afraid to turn your work around and see how you like to hold your work. And here I'm getting closer to the inner section, and I'll be joining the double crochet stitches together that are located before the chains. I'm inserting my hook into the bottom half stitch and then the top half stitch, and then yarn over and pull through all of the loops. And now we have to join the chain stitches. I'm gonna find the bottom half chain of the top square and the top half chain of the bottom square. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And here's the inner section. Now make chain 1. And then we're going to start joining the next 2 squares. So find the chain stitches. Here's the bottom half chain of the top square, and then find the top half of the bottom square. Yarn over and pull through all of the loops, just like so. And then just keep joining as we usually do, the bottom half stitch and the top half stitch. Yarn over and pull through all of the loops. And our inner section line will look like this. Once you get to this point, we'll start connecting the next pair of squares together. So grab your hook and take your working yarn and continue joining the double crochet stitches. Find the left leg of the right square and then insert your hook into the right leg of the left square. Yarn over, pull through all of the loops, and here we have the chain stitches. And we're also going to join as we usually do by making a slip stitch. And we are done with this pair of granny squares, so take the next pair and you are going to find the corner of this granny square where you want to insert your hook into the bottom half stitch of this second chain. Then take your working yarn, grab your other square, and you want to find in the corner from right to left the second chain and insert your hook into the top half of that second chain. You'll end up with 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all of those 3 loops. And yeah, that's how simple it is to join the next pair of granny squares. And then continue joining by making slip stitches as usual by connecting the closest to each other half stitches, left leg of the right square and then right leg of the left square. Yarn over and pull through all of the loops. And keep repeating that, and I'll see you when we'll join the next pair of granny squares. Once you get to the corner, the last slip stitch is gonna join the chain stitches. So go ahead and make your slip stitch, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then take the new square that you wanna join and find in the corner 2 chains. And insert your hook into the bottom half of the second chain. Take your working yarn and grab the next square. And also you're going to find in the corner 2 chains and insert your hook into the top half of the second chain. Like so, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. And yeah, that's it. We have joined the next pair of granny squares. Keep making your regular slip stitches joining the closest to each other half stitches, and I'll meet you in the end of this row. And in the end of the row, which is the corner, you'll insert your hook into the bottom half stitch of the top granny square and then find the top half stitch of the bottom granny square and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And now to finish it, make chain 1 and cut the yarn. Take out your hook and tighten the knot. So we crochet these lines together. And now you have the knowledge to make these joining lines yourself. And I'm going to meet you when you have these lines crocheted. And we're going to slip stitch this line that starts at this point and then connects these 2 sides. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. Slip stitches from the beginning to this spot as usual, and now we will crochet together. So in front of me, as you can see, are the double crochets. I'm gonna make slip stitch to join them all together. As usual, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and then the next slip stitch is gonna join the chain stitches. So I'm just inserting my hook into the half chain stitches of both squares, yarn over and pull through all of the loops. And now the next slip stitch is gonna join the half stitch of this right square, and then you're going to find the other square and insert your hook into the top half stitch of the second chain, and then yarn over and make your slip stitch. Now turn your project around and we're gonna start working our slip stitches all the way to here. Now continue making your slip stitches. Find the bottom half chain of the top square and the top half chain of the bottom square. Yarn over and pull through all of the 3 loops, and then keep repeating that pattern by making the slip stitches. And here's how your corner should look like. And once you get to the point where you can see the joining seams, we are gonna make the last slip stitch that is going to join the chain stitches of these 2 granny squares. Put your hook into the bottom half stitch of the top square and into the top half stitch of the bottom square. Yarn over and pull through 3 loops. So now we're done with joining these 2 granny squares. Now we're gonna connect the top joining seam with the bottom joining seam. Insert the hook into the slip stitch at the top, then into the slip stitch at the bottom. Remove all the end tails, then yarn over and make a slip stitch. So pull through all 3 loops. Next we'll join these 2 granny squares with each other. Take your hook, insert it into the bottom half chain of the top square and into the top half chain of the bottom square. Yarn over and make your slip stitch. And that's how your intersection line should look like. From now on, keep making your regular slip stitches as we usually do. Yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and I'll see you in the end of this row. When you're at the end of the row, last slip stitch that is going to join these 2 granny squares is the one that connects the 2 half chain stitches together. Here you can see my hook in one half stitch, and now insert into the other and make your final slip stitch and fasten off. So to recap, we started here, went up, turned right, and finished making slip stitches here. And now you're going to do the same thing starting here, and you're going to slip stitch up and then join these 2 parts together. Once you're done connecting all the squares, your future bonnet will look like this. And yes, I know it doesn't hold on your head yet, but bestie, trust the process and trust me, okay? In order for the bonnet to sit nicely on your head, we'll do the prep row first and then the ribbing so that everything is neat and pretty. So folks that crochet ribbing together slay their bonnet together. First, make a slip knot and we'll start crocheting a prep row starting from that corner. Grab your working yarn using your pinky and you want to find the second chain stitch from right to left and insert your hook into that chain stitch. Pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. So we've made a standing single crochet stitch. Now take your yarn tail and we want to weave it as we go through our prep row. Insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Here's our second single crochet, and now keep going, pull through 2, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And don't forget to hide the yarn tail as we go. And then keep going, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and repeat, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is how your prep row of single crochets should look like. And now continue making your single crochet stitches. And once you get to this point where you'll see a double crochet in front of you, you're gonna make a single crochet stitch into that double crochet. So pull through 2, and now into the chain stitch, you're gonna yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 3 loops. So we've made a half double crochet into the chain stitch. Then we're gonna make a double crochet into the slip stitch. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over and on to the next square. So find the chain stitch of the next square, insert your hook into that chain stitch, put the working yarn so we can weave in as we go and work your half double crochet. So pull through 3 loops and then keep working your single crochet stitches. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And the reason we made half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet here is to even out the height of the stitches. So just continue making your regular single crochets until the point where you need to even out the stitches. Here you can see I'm making my single crochet into a double crochet stitch, and then into the chain stitch I'm gonna make a half double. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. And now yarn over, and we're gonna work a double crochet stitch into the center of the slip stitch. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And on to the next square. Find the chain stitch of the next square, insert your hook into that chain stitch right here, and then put the yarn tail to weave in as you go, and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So the height difference has been evened out, and now just make your regular easy peasy single crochet stitches. And you want to make single crochet stitches throughout the whole row, for the exception of these joining places, where you're going to make half double crochet, and half double crochet. So I crocheted my prep row from here to here, and now we'll continue working on this bonnet together. So here I've made a single crochet stitch into a double crochet stitch, and the last single crochet of the prep row is going to be into the chain stitch. So pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. And now we're going to chain up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Turn the chain on the other side and you'll see the little bumps, which are called back loops. You're going to skip one and find the next one. Insert your hook into that second stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through the loop. So here's our first slip stitch. Find the next stitch, insert your hook, and work your slip stitch. So pull through 2 loops. And don't forget to make the loops loosely. Then repeat, find the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through the loop. And then one more time, pull up a loop, and pull through the loop. And here into the back loop, make your last 5th slip stitch. So pull through all of the loops. And here's our 5 slip stitches, which is the first row of the ribbing. Now turn your work, and this is the prep row of single crochets. And you want to find the next stitch, insert your hook, and work a slip stitch into that stitch. Just like so. Then repeat and make one more slip stitch into the next stitch. And turn your work. And we're going to skip 2 stitches, which are the 2 slip stitches. So 1, 2, and into the next stitch you can see it's V structure. You want to work into the left leg, which is the back loop. So put your hook into the back loop and make your slip stitch. Remember to make it loosely. Here's the next stitch. Insert your hook into the back loop and then pull up a loop and pull through the loop. Now on to the next stitch. Here's the back loop. Insert your hook and pull through both loops. And find the next V. Insert your hook into the top half of the stitch, which is our back loop, and work your slip stitch loosely. And here's the last 5th slip stitch of the row. Find the top half stitch, which is our back loop, and work your slip stitch. And then chain 1, turn your work. And here you'll see the first stitch. Find that V and insert your hook into the top half stitch, which is the back loop, and make your first slip stitch of the row loosely. Now let's make the second stitch. Find the back loop, insert your hook into that half stitch and work your slip stitch. And now the third stitch, then the 4th slip stitch, also into the back loop. And here's the last 5th slip stitch. You're going to find the back loop and make your 5th slip stitch loosely. And then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the prep row. So here's the first one, make your slip stitch and find the next stitch of the prep row and work your second slip stitch, and then turn your work. And after turning, skip 2 stitches and work into the 3rd stitch. Here's the back loop, insert your hook and pull through both loops. So that was our first slip stitch of the row, and here's the second one. And now make the third slip stitch loosely, fourth stitch, and the final fifth stitch of the row, chain one and turn your work. And we'll start a new row by finding the first stitch and work a slip stitch into the back loop of that first stitch. So that was our first slip stitch, and make 4 more. And once you've made 5 slip stitches through the back loop, you're going to find the prep row and work 2 slip stitches into the prep row. So here's 1 and 2. Turn your work, skip 2 stitches that we've made, and then make 5 slip stitches, chain 1, turn, and 5 slip stitches. And I've made a few more rows so you can see how well the ribbing stretches. So just don't forget to make 2 slip stitches into the prep row, turn your work, make 5 slip stitches, chain 1, turn your work, and make 5 slip stitches. And you're going to repeat that over and over again. And you'll make your ribbing starting from this point, and I'll meet you here. So here's my progress so far. You can see the ribbing, and now we'll continue working together. So I'm on the back side of my work, and I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left, and I've just finished my row by making 5 slip stitches through the back loop, and I'm gonna make 2 slip stitches into the prep row, 1 and 2, and then flip your work, and in the next row I'm gonna skip 2 and work my 5 slip stitches through the back loop. And after your 5 slip stitches, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and make 5 slip stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th slip stitch. And I've got 2 stitches on the prep row, and I'm going to make slip stitches into those 2 stitches. So here's 1 slip stitch, and here's 2. Turn your work to the other side. Now that we are on the front side, you're going to skip 2 stitches and work 5 slip stitches through the back loop. So here's 1, 2, 3, don't forget to make them loosely, 4, and 5. So we are finished with our ribbing, and now we are on to making a bow tie. So first, chain up 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then keep going. When you'll have a chain of 40, we'll start working on single crochets through the back loop. So turn your chain and skip 1, and we'll start working into the next one. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's our first single crochet. Let's keep going. Find the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And then repeat, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Here's 3 single crochets, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And here's how your first row of bow tie should look like. So keep making your single crochets, and I'll meet you at this point. One little pro tip, if your strap is twisted, you can stretch it and it will straighten right away. So here I'm at the end of the row, and I've got 2 back loops left. Here you can see the 2 chains on the other side, and I will make single crochets into those 2 stitches. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then repeat into the last stitch. Find the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now flip your project to the wrong side without turning the strap over. So we're done with one strap, and now we'll start working on the border right here. And these are the 5 slip stitches of the ribbing, and we're going to make half double crochets into those 5 stitches. So now yarn over, find the first slip stitch, and insert your hook into the whole stitch, not into the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and then continue, make your second half double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and repeat, yarn over, find the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. And once you've made 5 half double crochets into the slip stitches, we are at the prep row. You're going to also make a half double crochet into that stitch, and it's going to feel tight. So here's our half double, and now make one more into this one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. So we've made half double crochet border on the ribbing here, and we're still on the back side of our work, and now we'll start working on the border of the granny squares. And we're going to make regular half double crochets into these stitches, and into the joining places where the height difference needs to be evened out, we're gonna make double crochets. So now yarn over and start making your half double crochet into this chain stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then keep going. Okay, so here we are near the joining again, and I'm gonna make one more half double crochet into the double crochet stitch right here. And now I'm going to even out the height difference by making a double crochet stitch into the chain stitch. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then make a double crochet into a slip stitch. It is maybe confusing where exactly to insert your hook, but just trust your gut and find that slip stitch and yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And here into the next square, we're going to make a double crochet into the chain stitch. So insert your hook, and you want to hide your yarn tail so we can weave in as we go, and then pull through 2 and pull through 2. And by that we have evened out the height difference, and now just make your regular half double crochets and hide your yarn tail as you go. And your border should look like this from the back side. So here's my crocheted border from this point to here. And here's the last half double crochet that I've made. And I'm just going to make half double crochets until the end of the ribbing. So here into the chain stitch, I'm just going to insert my hook and then pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 3 loops to replicate the other side where we also made half double crochets into the ribbing. So now just repeat that good stuff and make your half double crochets into the slip stitches of the ribbing. But remember, make into the stitches, not into the back loops. And here make your last half double crochet into the 5th slip stitch, and now you're going to chain up 40 to match the other strap. And when you'll have a chain of 40, you're going to turn your chain and start making your single crochets through the back loop, starting from the second chain from the hook. Here's my first single crochet, and then keep making your single crochets through the back loop. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And when you're at the end of the row, don't forget to stretch out your strap. And here in front of me I've got 2 stitches left. I'm going to make my single crochet through the back loop right here, and finally the last stitch of the strap, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And now you're going to cut your yarn and just leave a little distance. Then take your project and take out the last loop out. Leave the hook aside. Then take the yarn tail and thread your needle. Just like so. So I put my bonnet wrong side facing me, and here's the strap and the border, and we're going to make a seamless join using our darning needle. Put the needle through from back to front like I did, pull the needle out, then insert into the middle of the last half double crochet of the strap, and that is how you make an invisible join. And now insert your needle into this half stitch and make a knot like that, and then take out your needle to secure the knot. And once you've done that, we're going to weave in our yarn tail in between the stitches and then cut the rest of the yarn tail. And that's it. I hope you had fun crocheting with me. I definitely did. If you watched this video and are wondering if you should make this bonnet, I'd say if you've gotten to this point, you definitely should. First of all, it's a lot of fun and a little bit unserious. And I think it's good for all of us to be not so serious sometimes and not take ourselves too seriously. Okay, bye!